I wanted to start in right away with the focus of your book because the death of Trayvon Martin has been now 10 years, but sadly there have been other searing deaths since then. I'm wondering why you focused on Trayvon and why you called it the Trayvon Generation.
Well, I think that what we know, sadly, is that race-based violence against Black people in particular is a tradition that is as old as the country itself. I think that if we look back to, let's say, the 1950s and the death of Emmett Till, when he was killed in Money, Mississippi, that was something that happened regularly. But what made the story different, why we remember Emmett Till, is that his mother brought his body to Chicago, kept the casket open, had people come through the church, and then the photograph of this killed child was in Jet magazine. So the world knew who Emmett Till was, and some called him the sacrificial lamb of the civil rights movement. Some thought of that as an inaugural moment in the civil rights movement. So with Trayvon Martin, tragically, there are Black and brown children on either side of him on the timeline, murdered by George Zimmerman in 2012. Hunted is really the only way to put it, coming from the store buying candy. Um, and then a year later, when George Zimmerman was acquitted of murder, I think that we saw a galvanizing moment. We saw Black Lives Matter formed after that. We saw an enough is enough moment. Sadly, we are still dealing with all of these murders, all of this violence and vulnerability, and racism as an unsolved American problem. So I think when I talk about the Trayvon generation, I talk about the young people who were, coming of age in the last 10 years, even a little bit before that, with a steady diet of seeing this violence recorded on their phones. And I wanted to think about what they are dealing with, their trauma, their vulnerability, and also to think about what it means to love them and encourage them and listen to their culture and offer them something that moves them towards freedom.